Good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody to Life Beyond the Clouds. In today's episode, I had said that I really want to start including everybody in this podcast because this journey of spirituality and faith and connection to the divine, it's about all of us. I really want to have people on to talk about their everyday life because we're all getting messages, we're all having experiences from the divine and from above and from our loved ones. And it's so really important. And I'm really excited about this today because I have Jen on here today, and we're going to talk about messages and how they just guided you. It doesn't always have to be, we think it has to be something so major. It's really in our everyday life, how we knew to go somewhere, to look somewhere, or we just felt their presence. And I think we need to start really including people in this. And I want this podcast to really open people up to how truly loved we are, because we're so much more than we think we are. We're not just our job and our title. We're spiritual beings, and we're being so guided and loved. Jen, I thank you for coming on and doing this, because I know it's not always easy and have people open up. And I just want to talk, and I'll receive messages as we go, but I know you're so spiritually connected, and I really love that about you. And I just want to let you go ahead and just talk about some of the experiences, and then, we'll go back and forth on this, because I know it's something that guides you, and it's just something that when we help open everybody else up to this, it's going to really change the divine and the earth as a collective whole, and we really need it today. And I'm going to let you go ahead and let's just have this conversation about how you absolutely know if you've received messages.
I will say, I don't think it's an easy thing for people to say, yes, I'm receiving messages from somewhere else, because there is, I think, a stigma attached to it, like, oh, you're crazy, or, oh, you just made that up. But I would say for me, a few years ago, I just had a lot of things going on, and I started, you know, praying, if you would, or just talking out loud to the universe, to a higher, being, and just said, I really need like help. Any signs that you can send me, I'm ready. I want to see them. And, it started happening, like just small little things. I see cardinals all the time now, like all the time. And I'm sure I did prior to being aware of it. I just wasn't open to seeing it before. And I do feel like my angels tell me things every day, even little things, just like as small as, which way should I take to work? I know they have the apps and tell you traffic and stuff, but sometimes even when it says heavy traffic, I'm like being guided to go that way anyway. And then I come to find out there's an accident that happens like the other way that was the quicker way. I really feel like that's my angels telling me, go this way, or, just in the past few years, I feel like I've really connected more, and I see angel numbers all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. I do. And I feel like when I meditate now, I can hear messages that maybe I wasn't getting a clear picture on before. So I think it's just so great when you open yourself up to those messages. And yeah.
And see, this is what I think is really important, why I want to have these conversations with people in their everyday life, right? People like you and I, when you're living your life and you have family, work, and job, where you're not always looking for it, that how it comes to us, that they know what we need. And the more we just understand that it's not bad or scary, that we all came in with a divine spiritual team. We all did, whether you believe or not. We have a team of angels that God gave us to guide us on this journey. Call them teachers, call them guides. We have teachers in school. We have teachers in heaven that are trying to help us. And even with you, when you said it so beautifully, that it's not always people think they're going to appear in front of us, or it's not always about physical things. It's about feelings and emotions and sensing.
Yeah.
Right. And those are so very important, that when you're going somewhere and something's like, no, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I better wait 5 minutes, or they stop us on purpose, where we forget our keys, or we have to go in the house 3 times, or maybe we spill our coffee and have to change our shirt. They're going to find ways to help us, to pause us, or to get us there sooner. And it's so much about feelings for me. It's not always, yes, things, we do find things. And those to me are very significant on the days that we do find, like when you see the cardinals, or you'll find the coins or the pennies, like, or feathers. Those are very significant. But we can't get used to always wanting to see that in order to believe, because then it stops us, right? So many people will say to me, I haven't found the dime in so long, they must not be with me. I haven't, received a feather. No, but this is where I want to, like with you, like how you just said it, that you get a feeling or a sense or an emotion, and that's what they are. They're energy. We're energy. So we will get that by knowing something just kind of stops you or sets you back. So I think it's just so beautiful the way that you came through. And I kept hearing the name Rose around you. Somebody was saying Rose, and honestly, somebody was either saying jelly bean or jilly bean. So I feel like I was also hearing this. I don't know if this makes sense for you.
Yes, for roses, I thought about this and I'm thinking my great grandmother used to get roses all the time for her
Okay.
Guadalupe, whether they be fake, fresh, but she does have, like the Virgin Mary, she has the roses down around her. And Jilly Bean, actually, that's something that we called my daughter when she was younger.
Do you understand? That's your grandmother. She's saying, because I actually have it written down right here. I have Jilly Bean. I wrote it down before we were talking. And I always have to ask you, I kept hearing the name Sam or something sounds like Sam around you.
Yeah,
I feel like I wanted to wait, but I feel like all of a sudden there's like a thank you that this was something that uh, I want to feel like it was unexpected. I feel like it was, do you understand? Like it
it
was,
was it was fast. Actually, she's my best friend that passed a few years ago.
oh, I'm so sorry.
Her death anniversary just passed.
'Cause
Um,
next to I had not feeling well. It was interesting. I had Sam and I had not feeling well.
yeah, she wasn't feeling well for a little while, and then when it got discovered and they found out she was sick, she had small cell lung cancer, and it's pretty progressive. So
You, you know
yeah,
what's interesting? The way she's coming through right now is like all of a sudden she just wanted to, this is what'll happen with energy, right? You know that thing, you just get sidetracked. She's coming in, but it's almost like thank you for what you're still doing. I don't know if there's other family members or people you're staying in touch with, but you're honoring her. But she makes me feel like I don't know if there was a reason that she had this, if she worked around something. I don't know why. I feel like either she breathed in something, but there was a cause, like something she made me feel like she was around. And she just keeps saying she's not alone. You sense and you feel her. And it's almost like, I don't know if there's a picture of you two together or something you keep with you to honor her. And she keeps, you're not getting a tattoo for her, are you?
I do have a tattoo for her. Actually,
Okay.
I have a sunflower that actually has her fingerprint in the center.
Oh, you know what's funny is even up here with her down here and I have flower. You really sense and feel her.
I do actually, more so this last week especially. I just would be doing something and a song would come on just out of the blue, and I had a station set that would not have played these songs, like, but like it still came on, and it made me stop and pause because I was like, oh, that's definitely her. Just, the music that her and I used to listen to, Beatles was a big thing for us. And so like anytime I hear a Beatles songs, or there's another song that I heard the other day that I'm just like, oh my god, I just knew that she was around me. I just knew it. That, and hearing the song, to be honest with you, was more of a confirmation. Not, I didn't hear that song and say, oh, she's around me. Like, I was feeling her energy around me, and then the song came on and I said, oh yeah, that's her.
See, and this is what I love talking about with people because the more we all connect with this, we've all had these experiences, right? We all know that this has happened to us more than once in our life. And that's what she's very upbeat. She's like when her
She
energy
is.
comes through to me, she's very excited and she's very upbeat. And she always says she drives with you in the car. And she's making me some connection to the beach with you. I don't know if there was ever a beach connection, but she makes me feel like there's some sort of a beach, but she just kept saying, I always drive in the car with you.
When we spread her ashes, I was there with her family,
Um,
and it was on the beach.
That's what I'm just saying. You say how driving in the car and she was beat. And she kept
Yeah.
showing me 80s music too. I don't know what this meant, but she was writing down like 80s music.
Yeah,
Um,
I listen to that like all the time.
okay. But she makes me feel like that's what's in the car. And she likes to dance. Like she's very, very upbeat and silly. Like she jumps
Yes.
up and down. It's almost just like, let's dance, let's dance. Like she would grab you. And it's almost like even if you were sitting there, she would dance around you or in front of you. Like she would make you laugh.
100%. That is her. 100%.
Does she have children?
Yes.
Okay. Because she's referencing her children. And it's almost as if you're stepping in some sort of a role where you kind of are keeping your connection to them makes it feel like she's still here, if that makes sense.
Yeah. When I go to North Carolina, because that's where they lived, or when she's here, I do like to see her daughter. She stays very close with her aunt, which Sam's sister, who
Mhm.
I'm actually, her and I hang out.
So that's the connection also when she shows me. Do you understand? It's like
Yeah.
that connection, even for her, the sister, like she feels like she's still there for you all, like she's still
Yeah.
there. And was there anything about ever working with someone? I don't know why she's referencing work or work. So I don't know if this was work related to her because she just kept saying work in my ear, work, work, work. So I don't know if there was something around her with work.
Well, I feel like her sister's working all the time.
Okay, she's just can hold on. It might make more sense in a different way later. I don't feel like that's it,
Okay.
but this is someone like I love the way you describe how you just heard the song and then you feel her or that connection because that's how they come in. They get her
Yeah.
attention. She's always trying to get your attention, and this is what's so amazing about the divine. They don't just go and poof into nothingness. We came from somewhere. We go back, right? And the love is so big. And I'm telling you, your grandmother is another one that is so very proud of you, that loves you. I feel like this is your heart, the way she comes through for me for you. She's very gentle.
Oh, yeah.
When her energy, I can see already how your energy shifts when you talk about her. So, do you have any connections or like where you have felt your grandmother?
Oh, I feel her all the time. I feel like when I'm making a decision that I feels like a bigger decision, I sit and I talk to her, and like I said, I that's when I'm asking, like, show me a sign. But I'll talk to her even if I'm not necessarily getting a response back, but it's because I want to know what she thinks that I should do, basically. And sometimes it may take a day or two, but I feel like there is something that gets shown to me when I'm least expecting it. It's not, I'm like, okay, where's the sign? Where's the sign? I just am going on about doing like my everyday stuff. And then all of a sudden something, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, yes, I'm going to do that, or no, I'm not going to do that type thing. But yeah, I definitely feel her all the
And
time.
and another thing too, even just the way you said that is when you ask her and it might not be immediate. That's what I also say to people too. It comes to us when we need it and how it's supposed to come. Don't I always say don't test the divine because when we ask for things, just because it didn't happen in a day or a week, it doesn't mean it's not coming. It comes at the exact moment that we need it. And like for
Yeah.
you to say that and understand that, you know that when you ask, she's hearing you and she'll bring it to you or she'll show you, right? Or you'll sense or you'll feel it. And I think that's so important to open people up to that because they
Yeah.
they back away from this. They'll go, well, I asked, it didn't happen, so it must not be real. It's not true. It's like a telephone. When you ask, they're going to pick up on the other side. They're always listening and they're going to help us, but they're going to deliver it to us at the moment that it's meant to be. We have to learn patience on this earth, right? It's a really hard one to learn. And your grandmother keeps showing me rosary beads. I feel like she's very faithful.
She is, she was, and I believe she still is.
She
I do
is.
have, I have some of her old rosary beads.
Okay.
Um,
Because she put them around your neck. Do you understand? Like she still prays over you. She put them around your neck and that she still prays. And she kept showing me this blanket. So I don't know if there's something about ever like a blanket that was made, but I kept seeing some sort of a blanket. She kept showing me, but the rosary beads, she puts them around your neck and she's very beautiful. You were very close to her. I feel like you really had a spiritual connection with her and you still feel it. Like sometimes with people on the physical earth, when we come, we all have a soul plan, right? We all have a divine reason that we came here. And I feel like with you and her, it's like that connection is still really, really, really strong. That you knew her before you came and that you were very connected to her. This is where you felt a lot of your peace. Like this is where, she gave you things in a way where you felt like you'd known her for forever. Like there was
yeah.
no time on how long that you knew her. I don't know why she keeps showing me a book too. I don't know if there's something about an old book. She just opened a book in front of me. Gosh, I don't know if she's shown me a Bible, but I keep seeing a book. Was there something about her English or her language?
Well, her first language is Spanish.
Okay, because it's almost as if I feel like this. She's connecting the two together. Almost, I don't know if she was trying to learn to read in English. Do you understand? She's making me kind of go to this. Like either she was learning two languages, or do you understand? Like she worked on this very hard. Like this was very important to her because she wanted to be able to communicate. I feel like with everyone. Like she wanted to
Yeah.
be able to communicate. Is kind of what she's showing me. There's something about it's almost like she was either trying to read in English too, like she keeps showing me a book like I was reading, or this was very important to her.
She did speak English well, but I will say that, and it's so funny you say she wanted to learn to communicate. I think probably when she came over from Mexico, she needed that. But once I learned Spanish, um, she used to speak to me then in Spanish instead of English because I think she was just more comfortable with that. And that was
Yes.
fine. I didn't always answer her back in English. I mean, in Spanish, I would answer her in English a lot of the times, which she would sometimes tell me, like, you need to practice so you don't lose it. And so sometimes I would talk to her, but I truly wanted to learn Spanish so I could communicate with her, but also her mom, who's my great grandmother, because my great grandmother did not speak English very well, but I think she could understand it. She just, people didn't know she could
Yes.
understand it.
And, and that's what I loved about that generation a lot too. They knew they would just sit back so they could hear us talking about them more. They would know,
Yeah.
understand. It was their way of being very, I know my grandfather used to do that too. It was Polish was their first language and my father. And, they could understand both, but a lot of times they would sit back, act like they didn't, because that's how they would catch you. You know what I mean? Say things
Yeah.
that you shouldn't, and then they would just get you later for it. But I
Yeah.
do seeing, it's almost like, it's really interesting. When I'm going back to the blanket, honestly, it's like either clothes were being hung on a clothesline. They actually gave me the vision. They're making me go back. They're not letting me go forward yet.
She used to hang her clothes on a clothesline behind her. Her washer and dryer were like outside
I love
of the
this.
house. So they did, and because they lived in Florida, I mean, the clothes would dry outside fairly quickly. So
Did she have any issues with her legs or walking?
yeah, I mean, well, she had like circulation issue.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, though. I love her energy. Like I feel her. I just absolutely love how much she loves you. Like they want to come for you. And I get so excited for people because this is what this is about, right? And
Yeah.
you're already so spiritually connected. You understand the messages. You understand that it's about feelings and knowings. And now somebody's taking me into coins or almost like a coin detector, or I'm looking for change, or I'm seeing somebody
Huh.
collecting change, something with coins. I don't know if somebody collected them, but I
Mhm.
am seeing this, or there's money somewhere, but I'm collecting change.
I mean, I actually have a 5-gallon water jug that I collect coins inside of.
A 5 gallon. I keep seeing like all these coins where it's almost like you would get a coin, those old coin detectors. Like it's just like there's
Yeah.
just change, but I keep seeing like all these coins. And I guess eventually you're going to buy a house with it. It's going to be so much money. You're going to pay your house off. But it's like she encourages you. It's like you're doing this for a bigger reason, right? Sometimes you just go, why do I have such a, but it's like you don't know yet why you're doing it, but you will. Like it's going to be
Yeah.
something that you're going to find out how much money is in there, and you're going to say, this is why I started doing this, because they keep showing me all this change. Like you're being guided to do this, like to keep saving it, right? Where sometimes you're like, oh, I could cash it in now. And something's like, no, you need to keep doing this because it's for a bigger reason. And I have to tell you, I don't know why and I don't mean right now, but I do feel another baby for your daughter.
Oh God. I
Not
hope
now,
not.
not now, not now.
Mm,
But I do feel another one. Not now. I do
okay.
feel like there's going to be two, but not now.
Okay.
Okay. And I keep seeing a little boy.
Oh, well, that'll be great because she already has a little girl.
Okay, because I was seeing a boy, but not. She's saying not now, not to worry. Okay,
Okay,
like
good.
not to worry, but not. Was there something about your grandmother's hair? It's so beautiful. Like either she wore it up or wore it back.
When she was younger, she had long hair like I have, and which that's so funny you say that because that's what I imagine people when they pass and go back. I feel like they return to a point where they felt their best.
Hmm.
But as an older woman, she kept it very short. She would keep it short and I mean just so it was out of her face.
So when they come to me, I see them. That's how I see them when they're young, and when they were 30 years old. To me, everyone is 30. Everyone is young. No one wears glasses. No one's sick. There's no time, no jealousy, right? Everyone is perfect. So when I see her now, she's this beautiful young woman, right? And her hair is dark and it's pulled back. Like she's just got this most magnificent, beautiful hair. And she comes to me like that because that's how you vision her too. That's how you see her in your mind's eye when you see her. And that's how they are in heaven. They're perfect in heaven. And so when she shows me that, this is what she wants you to keep seeing her as, because I feel like you have a picture of her like that.
I do have a picture of her like that.
And
I
she's just showing
have
me, is it a
uh,
tattoo on you?
it is a tattoo of her that I have from, and she was younger. It was from when she was younger.
That's who she is. To
Yeah,
understand that's who she is now. You'll have to send me the picture of that. I would love to see
I
that.
will.
And you look so much like her. She keeps saying you look so much like her. And I feel like everyone says that.
You know, when they see my tattoo, they do say that, and they're like, "Oh, you look so much like her," because it's on my upper arm. So, like, if I'm wearing tank tops or something
Okay.
sleeveless, you know, people can see it, and they're always just amazed because the artist that did it, he did an amazing job.
Now she wants to kind of gravitate into work a little bit. And I feel like you're being either spiritually guided, but it's like she's so proud of you. And I almost feel as if there's some shifts. Do you understand? Like, or some shifts that are going to happen with you, or it's like you're always wanting to change. Jen, you want to help people. You're so much about wanting to be connected to people. You want to touch them, you want to help them. That's
I
what
do.
your energy is. You're very much a healer. And it's almost when you don't feel you're able to do that, it kind of it sets you back a little bit. And I feel like I don't know, you know, I mean, she almost makes you feel as if it's like to hold on, there'll be something else where you're ready to shift again. I feel like you're ready to move or wanting to do something different again.
Yeah, I have thought about work a lot, and you know, there's always opportunities, and just because I think one pays a lot doesn't necessarily mean that's your opportunity. So that's again another thing, an example of how I ask for guidance, because you know, while something is presented to you and it sounds just amazing and you think it's going to be great, but is it worth peace? And for me, like, personally, I don't think moving to somewhere that could and possibly or potentially interrupt your peace just as a person is worth the move. So there's definitely been some opportunity available, but I just said, "Oh, I don't know, can't do it."
And you know, this is what I think is one of the most important things about this, why I want to do these conversations with people, just people that are living their life right every day, all of us, and how we're offering so much light. It's so important the way you're explaining the messages and how you ask. See, this is what it is. It's not about when you get desperate or people are so afraid. They say, I haven't asked in 8 years. They're not going to answer me. Nothing can be farther from the truth. And the way
Yeah.
you, everything you've said to me today, what is so beautiful is how you include them in everything every day. Can you show me this? Can you help me with this? Help me with the traffic. Help me with the job. This doesn't feel right. That you are staying just like you and I would talk. It's how we talk to them,
Yeah.
right? Help me and show me. I need some guidance. I know when you get the answer, you will show me. I know, and I trust in you enough. I know you love me and I'm not alone. And this is everything you've said to me today. It's going to help so many people because this is sometimes some of the hardest thing to convey that, you know, I mean, they all feel like if they don't do it a certain way, they're not connected. And I think the way you talked about this was so beautiful. The way you explained this today, it makes it so simple for people when they understand, oh my gosh, that's all I have to do is just talk to them when I'm in the
Just
house and
talk.
just say,
That's it.
show me a sign. I feel really stuck. I don't know what to do. And I know you'll show me. And you can ask for what you want. You can ask for, show me this, right? But I think it's
Yeah.
so much of a sense and a feeling. And the way that you explained it, I just think these kind of conversations are what we need to talk about today. We don't talk about it like this, and we make it seem as if it's so far away and that it can't happen, right? That it only happens to certain people and not us. And I look at you and the way you've explained this, it's going to help a lot of people.
You know, I feel like I used to think that way too, like, oh, that's not me. That can't happen to me. I can't get messages. There was a point in time that I thought that way. And then it was just, again, like I said, it was just so much going on in my life at a certain point that I just said, I can't do this by myself. You know, we like to think we can do things alone, but I don't think we're ever truly alone.
We're
So,
not.
you know, I just started talking, and I would meditate because I do think that's the perfect introduction to connecting with the divine, because you put yourself in a state of peace,
Mhm.
and it's just a different feeling that you have when you are meditating that I think it makes it easier for the divine to communicate,
It is.
especially to those who maybe be like, oh, I don't know, what are you talking about? This is not me. They're not going to talk to me. I think that they can, and it's easier for them to communicate when you start meditating. And I feel like that's when I started receiving more messages.
Mhm.
But because I chose to understand that at that time, I feel like I get the messages all the time now. I don't have to be in a state of
Yeah.
meditation to receive a message now. I mean, I think in the beginning that's where I received them the most. And I think also meditation is just good for your self peace. And I think everybody needs to have that.
The difference in prayer and meditation, I always say, is prayer is when we talk to God, meditation is when we listen. That's
Yes.
how it's always come to me. And the more, like, even with me now, I just sit and I pray. I ask God to bring in divine messages to help heal people. And this is what it's about. It's really about opening people up. It's about them knocking on the door and saying, hey, I'm here, just open it up. And once you open
Yeah.
the door, they're just standing there waiting and wanting to help. And I think the more we talk about this and let people understand that, gosh, Jen, we're all getting these messages, we're all receiving them. It's not just some. God doesn't pick some and not others. It's just
Yeah.
some of us in our life, we get very busy or we're afraid or we think we don't know how to ask or we shouldn't. Why would we not want to talk to God? Why would we not want to get extra help when we need it? Right? If we were in
Exactly.
school, you ask for extra credit when you're behind. So why would you
Yes,
not
you do.
ask for the help? And I look at so many scenarios, right, with teachers and the divine. And this is really what this is. And once you get the lesson, you move on. It's like, okay, I got it. I learned what I needed to know in this. It's going to keep coming back to us until we've learned and it taught us what we're supposed to learn on this physical earth. And it's really a beautiful place down here. And the more we raise this vibration and we try to help and teach each other, and start saying, hey, listen, if you do this, is going to help you. The more we help each other on this journey, honestly, it's really about sharing our gifts with each other. It's not about comparing. It's not about, trying to hurt each other. It's about saying, I didn't understand. Thank you for showing me this. And when you teach somebody something, they go and teach somebody else. And the more we do that, the more we change the way we're living down here.
Yeah.
And this is what it is. And it's people like you, honestly, on your daily journey, because you're a loving energy. And I know you always want to help people on this path. And not everybody's open to it, but we can show them in a way that it doesn't scare them, right? It's not weird or bad. You can just say, hey,
Right.
listen, if you do this, I think it'll help you. Just try it. And every time they'll come back and say, thank you, it changed my life. It's life changing. And I really thank you for coming on and doing this and wanting to help. And I'd love to have you to come back on again because I think these
Of course.
journeys just keep continuing. And I love when people tell their stories about their everyday life, how this has changed them. And is there any story or anything that you would like to end with? Like one specific experience?
I guess really just when I'm around my grandmother, I think when I started feeling her the most is a few years ago. I just had a lot of anxiety and my sleep was so horrible. And it's funny you said, I was thinking about this, that you said about the blanket. I feel that in those moments where I'm like, gosh, I just need to get some rest. I have to have rest for the next day. It was like I felt her presence and I would pull the cover up on me and, I was able to like go back to sleep. So I really feel like that's maybe what she was speaking about when it comes to the blanket.
Mhm.
I don't know. That did not click when you first said it, but as I was sitting here thinking about like my first experiences, just really feeling her around me, I just, it was like this calming presence. And then it was like, a deep breath in, out, and I just would pull the cover up like, okay, like cover yourself up. It's time to go back to bed. And so I feel like what people should really think about is maybe you didn't think it might not be a very direct
Yes.
response. It could be something like that, right? Where I just felt this presence and, was pulling the blanket. And that's something she brought up about the blanket. So that's not necessarily her calming energy, but she related to that because that's what I was doing when she would come to me. And I think that people should, if they look back on hindsight, when I think about other things, even before I felt really connected to them, there was a lot of things that was happening to me that I just was not open to like understanding this is what was going on. So I think they just look and see. You'll see a lot of things going on.
And this is what is so perfect about these kind of conversations, right? Because some of us, it's not always a great loss, right? Sometimes it's just we're searching, we're looking, and we're searching because people are lost down here and they're helping us. And even you with the blanket, because it's like I kept feel like she was covering you. Do you understand? It was like that covering you up, like I'm here and I'm tucking you in and I'm covering you in. It's that time where you felt the energy, almost as if she was, you could feel her energy as you were pulling it up, because I kept seeing the color blue around her. I keep seeing this beautiful blue energy around her. And it's just so much about the love and the guidance. And when people explain it like this is why I want to have people on like you to talk about this, because there's hundreds and thousands of millions of people that have these experiences.
Yes.
And the more we talk about this, Jen, the more we're going to just let people know, my gosh, right? It's that simple and it is that beautiful. And so I can't thank you enough for doing this. I'm so excited about doing these segments like this because this is how we're going to all heal each other. It's going to
Yeah.
be people like us, right? That you come on and that you're willing to tell your story and to be open about this and tell people, yes, I do believe and that there is more. And I know that I've been helped and guided. So it's people like you that are willing to spread your light. It's such a big deal. And I thank you so much for doing this.
Thank
And
you
I
for having
absolutely want
me.
to have you on again. And you are just an amazing person and your light is so beautiful. And I thank you for sharing your stories with me.
Thank you.
God bless.